Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into Chapter 2 of our source material and we're tackling a massive question. Why do almost all altcoins eventually fail? We're going to strip away all the marketing hype and look purely at the mechanical truth of hidden selling pressure. This isn't about opinions or feelings, it's just straight up arithmetic. All right, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the altcoin graveyard, then unpack hidden selling pressure, look into the staking yield trap, talk about fixing the supply equation, and finally wrap up with verifiable proof on-chain. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The altcoin graveyard. Diagnosing the disease.
Think about some of these massive projects out there. These weren't just your typical weekend rug pulls. We're talking major AI and infrastructure tokens suffering devastating 90 to 99% drawdowns. Seriously, these projects had real engineering teams, heavy venture capital backing, slick branding, and they were listed on all the major exchanges. If we saw drops like this in the traditional stock market, it would literally trigger congressional hearings.
So, this begs the ultimate question, right? If the technology was genuine and the developers were shipping real functioning code, why on earth do these tokens just bleed out to practically zero? Well, spoiler alert, it isn't just bad luck. It's actually a structural disease.
Which brings us to Section 2. Hidden selling pressure, the autopsy. If there's one core rule you need to absolutely lock into your brain about this entire space, it's this. Every single token acquired for little or no cost by insiders is basically just future selling pressure, period. And guess who that pressure is aimed at? You, the people who paid real, hard-earned money. We're talking about huge team allocations, massive marketing bags, venture capital rounds bought for fractions of a penny, and, yeah, those supposedly free airdrop tokens. Every single one of these acts like a pipe designed to drain value from the project and dump it directly onto everyday retail holders.
Let's actually break down the exact math behind these collapses. On a decentralized exchange, the price is entirely dictated by a pool formula. So let's say we have 10 million tokens total in a public pool, and regular retail buyers hold 4 million of those. But insiders hold 6 million free tokens. Well, think of those free tokens like a loaded gun. If those 6 million tokens are suddenly dumped into that 10 million token pool, simple arithmetic absolutely guarantees a 61% crash for those retail holders. The math literally has no choice.
And here's the kicker. This isn't some shady, smoke-filled backroom conspiracy. It's just pure mechanical incentive. The moment these free tokens unlock, they are predictably going to be sold right on to you. The insiders paid practically nothing, so they're cashing out, while the everyday holders pay for everything. It permanently caps the market's trust, because, well, there's always this hidden hand just waiting to dump on the market.
All right, let's move on to Section 3. The staking yield trap. Inflation in a friendly costume.
Now, there's a really crucial nuance here that we absolutely have to separate. Physically locking up tokens, that genuinely reduces sell pressure because it takes those tokens completely out of circulation. That's just solid math. But the real danger, the trap, is newly minted reward emissions that get paid out as yield. Make no mistake, that is just inflation wearing a friendly costume.
So what does this actually mean for your portfolio? You know those insanely high APY rewards you see advertised everywhere? Those are freshly printed tokens created for one exclusive purpose: to be sold. It's basically a slow bleed. It systematically dilutes the value of the tokens you're already holding. Because think about it, if the system is just printing tokens to reward you, those exact tokens become future sell pressure the very second you or anyone else decides to cash them in.
Which leads us to Section 4, fixing the supply equation, the Satoshi move.
Okay, so if insiders and endless emissions are the disease, the structural cure is to permanently remove them. And according to the source material, this is exactly what the CRGP community did. They executed this cure through 3 incredibly disciplined moves. First, they actually walked away from the completely rigged game of centralized exchanges and went back to the pure math of decentralized pools. Second, they permanently burned the insider supply. And third, they halted all emissions completely.
Let's just take a second to grasp the sheer scale of that second step. Over 6.3 million insider tokens were sent straight to a dead address during what the community called the catharsis burns. That move permanently erased over a third of the total supply. And the really important part here, these were not retail tokens. We're talking about marketing reserves, team tokens, unissued rewards, the whole shebang. They literally took the pipes that constantly drain other projects and permanently cut them.
By establishing a fixed, burned supply with zero emissions, they completely guaranteed that there is absolutely nothing being printed to be sold onto the open market. Remember that pool math we just walked through earlier? Well, if you remove those free insider tokens from the equation entirely, that 61% mathematical crash we talked about, it literally cannot happen. There is no massive team wallet sitting above the holders just waiting to be unloaded.
And that brings us to Section 5, Verifiable Proof On-Chain, the floor holding.
Consider the market activity directly following that centralized exchange delisting. Ever since the delisting and the massive token burns, the chart just held its ground. It's fascinating. This is mechanically exactly what it looks like when structural sell pressure is simply gone.
Now, to be perfectly clear, we are not here making hype videos or price predictions. We're just observing the factual reality of the situation. The floor held simply because there was nothing pressing down on it. Even without some massive wave of new buyers coming in, the pure math of the decentralized pool stabilized. Why? Because the leaks in the gas tank were permanently welded shut.
When you take an honest, decentralized pool that is governed purely by raw arithmetic, and you combine it with a token supply that is completely free of that heavy insider overhang, you end up with a genuinely fair environment. You get a transparent vending machine, right? Not a shady casino dealer. Every single trade, every burn, every holder, it's all 100% verifiable on-chain.
So, the conclusion drawn from our source material is incredibly clear, calm, and confident. Removing the hidden hand of selling pressure is exceedingly rare in this space, but it is quite literally the only way to build an honest market. If there are no insiders waiting in the wings and absolutely no emissions diluting the supply, the underlying math finally protects the people who actually paid real money for their assets.
And we're going to leave you today with a defining question for the industry's future, something every community really needs to answer for itself. How much actually needs to be built before control is fully released? Like, what is the exact optimal moment for a creator to just vanish and hand a fully working engine over to the community rather than just handing over an empty promise? Keep scrutinizing those mechanics, always demand mathematical transparency, and hey, we'll see you in the next explainer.